Hey, hey, boss. Hey, how are you today? It's your girl, LaShonda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Always excited to share things you can do to work on your money, marketing, and sales goals too, with strategy and intention. So come on in, y'all. This is day number 4 of Content Honey that you can turn into actual money. I want to talk to you guys about working on your content creation efforts so that you are strategically working on your goals as far as generating everyday sales online. So welcome back to my OGs. Mwah. Welcome for the first time to my newbies. Feel free to let me know who you are and where you are. So introduce yourself as you're coming on into the virtual building. Hey, Pink Leaf Consulting is here. Awesome to see you here, my dear. Feel free, y'all, to share this out. Sharing is caring. That's what it's all about. Tag a business bestie that you know who's looking to grow their online business, working strategically on their content creation, marketing, monetization, and sales efforts. And of course, if you're catching me on the replay side, always remember you can drop into the comment box hashtag replays rock. So Content Honey is this conversation that I wanted to have with you all for the next, I want to say 31 days. So we're on day 4 of this 31-day experience. And what I want to do is actually give you a quick recap of the first 3 days so we can move into the next 3 days. So the first thing that I want us to do when it comes to focusing on content is to talk about your core, right? And we're going to dig into that a little bit more. First, we talked about your core target audiences. And now I want you to dig into your identifying your core content that you're going to focus on when it comes to, again, building your best business online. So we're going to do a quick quiz that's going to recap the last 3 days, and then we're going to move forward. All right. So remember to just kind of check in with me. Let me know who you are and where you are today. I think I see my girl mentor Shelly is in the building. Welcome. Awesome to see you here, my dear, so that we can dig in. And feel free, guys, as we're going through this process, if you do have questions about content creation or challenges that you're going through when it comes to working on your content too, feel free to drop those into the comment box and I'll do my best to support you. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we talked about for the first 3 days was focusing on your core audiences. So I'm going to give you a quick quiz around that. Your core audiences that I believe that you should focus on when it comes to growing your online business strategically is your social media following audience, number 1, your email subscriber base, number 2, and number 3, your customers, those who are actually paying you for products and or services, right? So for the first 3 days, every day I gave you like a short 5-point checklist of things that you can do to work on your growth goals as far as those 3 core target audiences. So just a quick quiz before we dive into core content. I want you to answer the following questions. Number 1, when was the last time you actually intentionally tracked those 3? Meaning that you took a look at where you are, how many social media followings you have, how many email subscribers you have, how many new customers you have. So you're looking at where you are right now versus where you want to be. So you're setting a clear goal and saying, okay, I noticed that right now I have a few hundred or a few thousand followers on these platforms. And in the next month, I want to grow those. And this is the number of people I want to grow in those core areas. Hey, Sonia Michelle, awesome to see you here, my dear. So the first question I have for you for this quick quiz is, are you intentionally tracking those core areas to see where you are versus where you want to be? That's number 1. Okay. And by the way, every day that we're doing this Content Honey series, I'm live. So don't forget to turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when I'm live, so you can jump on here live with me. And of course, number 2, I post these questions and topics for you on my Instagram page at SisAscent. So make sure that you are there as well. Now, the next thing that I want to ask you when it comes to this quick quiz, and feel free to drop your what's the word I'm looking for? Drop your answers into the comment box as you're going through this, right? What are you doing What do you plan to do when it comes to growing in these three areas, right? So I shared with you, again, those 5-point checklists over the last 3 days. Hopefully you've been, watching these quick sessions that I'm doing with you guys. But if not, go back, because I basically gave you 3 days, 5 strategies a day, about 15 different things that you can do to work on growing your social media following, your email subscribers, and your customer base too, right? So not only should you be tracking your numbers, but thinking about what are you actually going to do to attract new social media followers? What are you going to do to grow your email list? What are you going to do to get more customers turning from just browsers to actual buyers, right? So those are some things that I want you to think about, questions I want you to ask yourself. And again, if you're just starting the Content Honey conversation, it's 31 days I'm doing this. We're on day number 4. Really feel free to dig into today and then stay connected so you can get more, okay? So with that being said, now that I've given you guys a quick recap of what we've been talking about as far as your core target audiences around Content Honey, let's talk about your core content. Today, we're going to dig into titles and topics. Okay. Yay. So, all right, y'all. When it comes to titles, I want you to think about who you are at your core. What are some titles that best define you? And as I'm asking this question, feel free to pop into the comment box and share that with me. So when it comes to titles, I would say here are some of my personal core titles. I am a web designer. I'm a graphics designer, right? I'm a service professional. I offer web and graphics design services to clients, okay? That's one of my core titles. I am also an information entrepreneur, right? I sell a lot of information content, right? Audio, videos, text, ebooks, templates, name it, training, courses. I'm an infopreneur, right? And while I don't necessarily consider myself a coach, I oftentimes will say, hey, my title is that of a mentor to women entrepreneurs who, like me, are looking to work on their monetization, marketing, and sales efforts, right? So those are some things that I would consider to be my core titles of how I identify myself. I want you to think about that for yourself. I know my girl mentor Shelly Fluffy and Fabulous is in the building, right? But not only are you in a space where you want to create socially conscious, right, self-affirming content for the Fluffy and Fabulous, you also have career and business services that you offer, right? So you may have multiple facets of yourself. I was on a clarity call with a client, and she focuses on multifaceted creatives who they've got different interests, and she's got a really great, interesting perspective on how to support them. What are some of the titles that, again, best identify you? For me, I would say web designer, graphics designer, infopreneur, and mentor too, right? Those are some of them that hit with me. This conversation is important because when you talk about Content Honey, right? And I say that's the stuff that's so sticky sweet. People just love it. They want more of it. They come back and they're bringing their friends, right? When you want to create attractive content, you also want to make sure that your content is clearly connected to the things that you want to sell. And honestly, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who they come to me and they're struggling because when they post on social media, when they share online, a lot of the stuff they're sharing has no connection to what it is that they're offering. So if you want things to be clearly collected and aligned, your marketing efforts, these are some of those fundamental things that you need to begin with, which is why I kicked off the first 3 days talking about your core target audiences, who you need to focus on, how you need to really get intentional about looking at your current and your desired growth goals, right? And now I want us to dig into core content and what it is that you actually want to put out there. Because a lot of people who come to me looking for clarity, especially when they call me one-on-one, they're not sure. Like, I don't know what I should be putting out there. And you can let me know if that's you too, right? So the first thing that I want you to do is to really think about your titles and drop those into the comment box so that I can see whether you're watching live or via the replay. Number 1, thank you for the hearts and the likes and the thumbs up. I just saw something pop on the screen. Drop more of those for me. I appreciate you. When you tap on the hearts, the likes, the love, the smiles, all that good stuff that helps me help you and other amazing people like you. So that's your content currency, right? So drop me a little bit of currency. Tap, 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 tap. If you're enjoying this session and others like it. So your title's number one, your topic's number two, and then I'm going to get into really what content you can create that connect those. Okay. Thank you for the hearts and the love. Let me pop these glasses back on because you know I'm as blind as a bat, right? Business strategist. So Pink Leaf Consulting, when you think about a title that best reflects who you are, one of those is business strategist. Awesome. Hey, Dee. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Belinda. Welcome. Welcome. So think about what titles best describe you and feel free to pop those into the comment box too. Pink Leaf Consulting, again, says business strategist. Awesome. Okay. So I want you also to think about what are some of the core topics that you're an expert on in your area of expertise. You're in your industry. What are some things that you talk about a lot? Me, obviously, today I'm talking about Content Honey because a lot of times people will come to me and they're like, LaShonda, I love your content. I love how you design it. I like your ebooks. I like your graphics, right? I see somebody pop on here and they said book promotion strategist. Okay, awesome. Good, good, good. So a lot of times you'll find I will talk a lot about building websites, working on your graphics, your content creation, your marketing, your sales. Those are some of the core things that I talk about. So monetization, marketing, and sales. Sister Sense, as you know, is my name, my brand. Sister Sense is all about helping you make sense of making money online. So those are some of the core topics that I cover. What are some of your core topics? And I see you guys are popping on here. Revenue strategist, revenue recovery specialist. Okay, so you know what your titles are. What are your core topics? Okay, feel free to pop those into the comment box so that I can see as well. Dee says, I am an expert in collecting past due invoices from companies, for companies. Okay, so this is the thing that I want you to think about when you're thinking about these topics, right? I always feel like if you're going to put valuable information out there, you should also be able to let people know where they need to go to get more. Where can they go to get more? So for example, today I'm talking to you about Content Honey. And if you say, LaShonda, man, I really want to work on my content. I really want to work with you. Where can I go to do that? And I can say, hey, a couple of places. Number one, I have 12 weeks of training on creating social media content as part of my content club. You can take a look at that over at sistersense.com/TCC for the content club. sistersense.com/TCC. I have a 90-day content creation challenge, 90 days, so I can work with you and offer you weekly trainings on how to strategically work on your paid content and your promotional content. That you can find over at sistersense.com/CH, which stands for Content Honey, right? So I share those with you because number one, if those resources are value to you, you'll take a look at them. But also because when I teach, when I offer this kind of content to my audience, there's always a clear connection between what I'm telling and what I'm selling. That's what I call the sell and tell method, right? So I want us to begin this Content Honey conversation in a way that allows you to kind of reverse engineer before you start trying to figure out how to market the products and put them out there, right? Get clear about your title, who you are, right? So people know how to define you. You tell them how to define you. I am the ... number one. And number two, the topics. So people always say to me, oh my God, LaShonda, I have no idea what to talk about. I always am never without content. I'm never without something to talk about because I focus on my core content topics, right? Monetization, marketing, and sales. So I want you guys to really dig into that part first. Now, any service professionals in the building, you offer coaching, consulting, mentorship, things of that nature, or you do things for people. You're a VA, or you're a web designer, or a graphics designer. You work with people and you offer therapy. You do people's hair. Any service professionals in the building, right? Here's the deal. Outside of identifying myself as a web and graphics designer, When I realized that I needed to attract customers and I needed to create content to attract customers, that's what content marketing is, right? I was aware of the fact that I needed to create content that was going to be clearly connected to my services. So I would create content around how to build a WordPress website, how to create promotional banners, how to, start creating your business online on a budget, right? I have a series on how to build your website on a budget. Why? Because those starter questions, that starter content allowed me to attract web clients. If I'm teaching you the fundamentals or the initial things you need to know about social media graphics, or, hey, let me show you how to use Canva, those pieces of content allow me to clearly connect myself as a professional, right? I can say, here are some things that you can do to build your website on a budget. Here are some tools you can use to get started, right? And by the way, if you don't want to build it yourself and you need me, I can do that for you here. So that's one of the things I want you guys to think about when it comes to getting clear about, man, how am I going to create this luscious content, sticky sweet content that my clients love, right? Start with who you are, right? Your title, and then begin to develop HTE, how-to experiences that give people some really great answers to some of those initial beginner questions that they have, right? That's one effective way that I've been able to turn that content into cash flow as a service professional, number one. And number two, as far as being an infopreneur, that's the same thing that I do when it comes to my core topics, right? I teach on marketing, I teach on sales, I teach on the core things that people come to me for. So I have my monthly mastermind. Last month in the mastermind, I taught how to use different platforms to create sales pages, because ding, 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 sales is one of my core topics, right? This month, I'm talking about how to create content honey using Canva, because ding, 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 content creation is one of my core topics. So we're going to dig into other ways in which you can strategically come up with great content for your audience. But the first place to start here when it comes to your core content is really, really identifying who you are, your titles, and what you want to share, your topics, to be clear. So I hope this particular session has helped you. Again, this is day 4 of our Content Honey conversation. There's definitely so much more because it's a 31-day experience. But of course, over the next 3 days, we're really going to focus on your core content, right? First 3 days, we talked about your core target audiences. This now, 3 days into it, we're going to continue to talk about your core content and then explore other areas of Content Honey as we go. Feel free, always know that you can check in with me. You can email sistasense@gmail.com. You can turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when I'm live, so you can jump on here live with me for this daily experience, number 2. And number 3, if you're on the sistasense.com website, you can always click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message, all right? So there's lots of ways for you to really embrace these Content Honey conversations that we're having. And I have recently, literally yesterday, kicked off these content conversations on the Clubhouse platform. So if you're on Clubhouse, definitely follow @SistaSense. We had a great conversation yesterday on real ways to turn content into cash flow. And I'm going to continue those conversations on the Clubhouse platform as well, outside of these daily live stream sessions. So we've got a lot of fun conversations that we're going to continue to have around content. And I want to make sure that I am here to support you as best as I can. So let's see here. Belinda says, CEO of Mama Knows, I do everything myself, but need to level up. Thank you. You're so very welcome. Feel free to check in with me. Belinda, email me so we can talk a little bit more about that. Hey, my girl Jay Stone is in the building. Love the backdrop. Thank you. I appreciate you for popping on here, my dear. You know my purple, my gold. I gotta have it glowing, right? Have my purple, gold, and blue always in the mix for you. So I appreciate you, Jay. Thank you for joining. Y'all gonna catch me on the replay side because I'm just about done for today. But again, we're gonna continue this 31-day Content Honey experience, day number 5, coming up next. Till then, y'all, take care.